Okay, guys, we're going to look at a sample argumentative essay, and this one has to do with the topic, are books better than movies? We're going to go over a couple of, I've highlighted a couple of different portions of this for you to kind of illuminate the different sections that we need to understand. So let's just get started. Everybody has heard of the phrase movie magic, and most have experienced the magic from seeing movies such as Frozen, Cinderella, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and even Mean Girls. The problem with these widely known movies is that they are adaptations of books and have been completely changed from their paperback twin. Many books in general have caused us to laugh, cry, and fall in love with characters over and over again. While we might meet new people and understand them through the silver screen, the feeling of holding a book and understanding the character through not only what is happening, but also through his or her thoughts, make you have feelings you will never feel watching a movie. So that's a great introduction. It funnels down to the most specific point, and this portion right here I highlighted in yellow because that is our claim that books are better than movies. So to begin with, that's our transition that I've highlighted in orange. To begin with, books are better than movies because films don't always provide the whole picture. So I highlighted this in light blue. Every time you see a light blue highlight, that is a claim that the author is making. So their first reason or claim is books are better than movies because films don't always provide the whole picture. In movies, we never know what the protagonist is thinking, while in books, we can clearly read and understand what is going through the main character's mind. For instance, in the movie The Hunger Games, Gale calls Katniss Catnip, but for those who haven't read the book, they wouldn't understand the reason why he gave Katniss that nickname. It's important that readers understand why he calls her Catnip. It tells the first time Gale and Katniss meet and shows their relationship with each other. It is also an important way of showing the characters' personalities. In Stephen King's famous book, The Shining, the main character Jack Torrance's descent into insanity is much more agonizing and slow, while in the movie, the actor who plays Jack seems to lose his marbles much too quickly. Shown throughout the book, he acts as if he was doing something completely normal. Wendy, darling, light of my life, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in. Here it is shown how he talks to his wife and comforts her in the thought of her soon being murdered, the murderer being him. The same scene from the book onto the movie is, Wendy, darling, light of my life, I'm not going to hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in. I'm going to bash them in. It doesn't give the same emotions that Stephen King had wanted the character to portray throughout the plot of the book, which makes the book superior to the movie. So right up here, I highlighted in green, this author right here is taking evidence from elsewhere. They're taking it from a novel or a series of novels. They're talking about Stephen King's The Shining, and they're talking about The Hunger Games. They reference texts both times here. And then here, in white, that is their personal connection. That is their personal anecdote. That's their prove-it statement. And then in red, we have our thesis tie-in, where they mention the topic again, which is books are superior to the movie. So we have our transition. We have our claim right here, first claim. We have our evidence from text, we have our personal anecdotal evidence, our prove it, and we have our thesis tie-in. In addition, there are also health-related benefits to reading books. For instance, according to the National Institute on Aging, intellectually stimulating activities may also reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. During a large observational study, it was revealed that activities like listening to the radio, reading newspapers, and playing puzzle games reduce the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease by 47%. What's even more interesting is that another more recent study showed that people with less education who engaged in activities like reading performed as well on memory tests as their better educated peers. Reading can be therapeutic and reading can enhance your memory, whereas movies don't require any active engagement other than staring at a screen for about 2 hours. Constant movie watching damages your brain cells, but books do everything but. Also, fictional books increase your ability to empathize others. All in all, books are better than movies. So again, we have our transition, which is in addition. We have our second reason or claim, which is there are also health-related benefits to reading books. We have our information or our evidence from text. This is from an article. And then we have our personal anecdote right here in white. And then we have our thesis tie-in in red. All in all, books are better than movies, mentioning that topic again. Now we're going to have our counterclaim paragraph. Okay, so we don't need as much evidence here because we're just going to say what the other side of our argument is claiming. And then we're going to treat the paragraph in the same way that we did these two previous paragraphs. So on the other hand, that's a great transition to use if you want to start talking about the other side. On the other hand, there are some people in this world who believe that movies are better than books. One of the reasons people would rather watch a movie than read a book is because they're too lazy. They complain that reading books take too long or that they don't have the time. These people also protest that books are too boring and they would rather watch an action-packed thriller. So that is the opposing claim, that books are too boring and then they would rather watch a movie because it's action-packed and it's not as long as a book. So that is their second statement, or excuse me, that is their counterclaim that they're addressing, that books are too long. So now they're going to give anecdotal evidence to disprove this counterclaim. So we've made the counterclaim, now we're going to disprove it. What these people don't know is that books allow you to make your own adventure. You can picture your own characters instead of watching them on screen. In the teen mythology book, The Lightning Thief, the headstrong character Annabeth is said to have blonde princess hair and gray eyes that a stereotypical California girl would look like. In the movie, the character is smart, but not in the way that Annabeth in the book is portrayed. And she was a brunette that took away meaning. Her features were supposed to symbolize the resemblance she has to her mother, the goddess of war, because all her children inherit blonde hair and gray eyes. The book may give you suggestions on how the character is supposed to look, but it also gives you space to imagine how their face shape might be, or the shades of brown and blonde. You can never be too busy to read a book, and if you're watching a movie, then you probably have time. Overall, though people think that books are boring and would rather watch an action-filled film, books are better because they let you picture the story and characters in your own way and make your own adventure. So we still have our transition. We have our counterclaim. We have our evidence to disprove the counterclaim. This is our prove it This is our prove it evidence again. And then we have our thesis tie-in. Okay, again mentioning that books are better than movies. In conclusion, books have been with us for thousands of years, and as our society changes, new books are heading our way become more interesting, and even the thoughts and ideas from these books can be revolutionary. Books are not just fiction, they are inner thoughts of the author and the characters in every page and chapter. Movies give you a visual idea that portray what you imagine when reading a certain book, but when you read a book, every scene becomes unique to each person. Our imagination is endless and different in each individual, and movies don't give us much of an option in that area. Movies may be timeless, but books are forever. So there we have an entire argumentative essay about books being better than movies, and we looked at every single part of each body paragraph. We have our topic sentence or our thesis. We have another paragraph in addition to the first body paragraph that is our second statement. Our first statement is here. Books are better than movies because films don't always provide the whole picture. There are also health-related benefits to reading books, but also our counterclaim paragraph. Very important to address the counterclaim and, more importantly, disprove it with your anecdotal evidence. Okay? If you can back up a counterclaim, if you can back this up with your own evidence that disproves it from text, even better. Always make sure to disprove the counterclaim. If you leave this here and then just prove what the counterclaim is saying, you're going to prove the other side for them, so never do that. So this has been a quick look at a sample anchor paper for an argumentative essay.